Hello, welcome back to another live. My name is Laken and I go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern to answer any questions you have about goals, planning, life, whatever you want to chat about. This is just it's one of my favorite moments of my week. Let's kick it off with our first question that we always start with, which is what are you drinking? Does not have to be a latte, even though that is the name of our session. If y'all know me, I love a good alliteration. However, I do have, it's not really a latte, it's a nice coffee with half and half. But I would love to hear in the chat. If you are here live, I would love to hear what you are drinking in the chat. And if you are part of the replay fam, I would love to hear down in the comments what you are drinking or doing if you're kind of multitasking while you are listening to the replay. I try to always do a very good job of reading the questions back. That way you don't have to be staring at the screen and staring at my face to really get the most out of the replay. Also, I sound a little bit like a frog. I'm not sick. It was a little too much screaming at the dance show over the weekend. And my voice hasn't quite come back yet. We're getting there, but I know I don't totally sound like myself. We got some water. Shannon, hello. I'm glad you're able to catch a latte and working on a spreadsheet. Wendy, that sounds like my kind of day. We've got tea. Kate, thank you for also being my guinea pig here. If your name that you prefer to go by is not your YouTube name, like if your YouTube or your Facebook name is something different, I would love for you to include your preferred name in the comment. That way I can address you by your name, just like Kate did here. Green tea. It's a water Wednesday for me too. I also forgot to fill up my water. So my water cup is here without any water in it. So that's fun, which means I'm going to be drinking all this coffee, which is going to be fine. Drinking water and a naked smoothie, yum, a French vanilla latte. That sounds delicious. Cranberry juice with a baked potato, River J. That sounds awesome. And water. All right, let's move into our second question that I like to kick it off with. Which was inspired by one of you. And that is, what is one small win that you want to share? Any win from the last week. It can be goal related. It can be not goal related. We just do not celebrate our wins enough. And so I would love to hear from you in the chat or in the comments, one small win since the last time we talked, or just any win that you would like to share with the group. Yvonne, I love that. Drinking iced tea and completing a bunch of quick tasks that I was putting off. Use that motivation. For a second, I thought I'd only put in one earring. No, they're both there. Okay. Also, I just need to stop touching my hair. The problem with the lives is I always get ready right before they start. And then I feel like my hair hasn't had time to settle. So then I'm on the live and I'm messing with it. It's probably super, super annoying. Becca, in the process of opening our pool. I can't wait to go swimming when it's ready. That is amazing. Signed up for one-on-one coaching with you, Amy. I'm so freaking pumped. I'm so, so excited. Thank you also for being my very first go-to guinea pig working through the Teachable. We're moving coaching over to Teachable too. And we're going to figure out all those kinks. My not so small wins: accepted an offer on the condo. That is amazing. And at work, stepping out of the leadership team while I transition out of the company. Those are not small. So many life changes for you coming up. I cannot. Launched a podcast, River J. That is amazing. Congrats, and so exciting. Definitely something that I'm sure took not some courage, but a lot of courage. And I feel like it's one of those things, even if you're scared, do it anyway. So that is amazing. Thank you for sharing with us. Exercise ring closed every day for the last 7 days. Shannon, that's amazing. 7 days in a row. Holy moly. Use my Plan with Laken daily notepad this week, and I'm on track. I love it, Monique. That is my go-to planner that I use basically every day. It's either just a to-do list or I'm using this. I have very few actual planners around me anymore. I have my notepads and my printable goal planner. And I'm do I even have anything? I have my Golden Coil to-do list planner, I guess, on a coil, but not a whole lot of planners around me anymore. I love it. I love hearing about all of your exciting wins. I keep clicking the wrong thing over here instead of getting rid of the wins. I was closing out the comments. Okay. Before we jump in to questions this week, I do have something to announce, and I'm really, really excited about it. This stemmed from a conversation I was having with somebody one-on-one about feeling this kind of slump as we get towards the middle of the year. You're probably it's already almost June, and I feel like I haven't done anything simultaneously. I feel like I have so much I still want to do before the end of the year. So why can't I freaking find the photo? I am hosting a challenge. It is totally free. I meant to put that on this graphic. Also, I think it's weird that you can't see my face, but it's fine. Just listen to my voice. I meant to put that it's totally 100% free challenge that I'm hosting in a couple of weeks, but you can go ahead and sign up now. That's why I'm talking about it now. So you have plenty of time to sign up and get settled before we kick it off. It is going to be the weekend of June 9th through 12th. The 9th is Friday, the 12th is Monday. It's going over the course of the entire weekend with the focus of helping you create your game plan for the rest of the year. So we're going to check in with our goals. We're going to refresh them. We're going to get all ready to go. And I am really excited. So there's going to be 3 days of videos. You're going to get a video into your email inbox. It's like a short 5 to 10 minute video that's going to walk you through the action steps for the day. You're also going to get a handout, like a place to write all of this down. So the first day will be checking in with your current goals, figuring out what's working and what's not working. Then you will look at your time, and we're going to calculate how much time we have in the second half to really get a feel for the second half of the year. And then the last day will be actually making that game plan for the second half. So in addition to the 5 to 10 minute pre-filmed, those are all already done videos that you'll get in your inbox, we are also going to be doing live sessions to answer any questions. So you do not need to be writing all this down, by the way. Like, it'll all be in an email or on a web page. So I just don't feel like you need to be frantically trying to jot things down. There will also be 3 live sessions to answer any questions that you have as you are going through the challenge. So once again, totally free. If you want to sign up, the link to sign up is in the description box. It's very simple. It's literally just like your name and your email, and you're going to be all signed up and good to go. And the emails will come starting June 9th, and I'm very excited about. Okay. Wow. Now I need to catch up. Okay. Is it okay if you can't do it live? You're out of town that weekend. 100%. The benefit of being around at that point in my brain is just the timing of it, and feeling like then you have enough time to do the rest of it, right? Because we're going to be making a game plan from the goals at a high level, but not like the details, right? And the breakdowns, that's going to continue throughout the month. So being able to have time to do that is why I picked the weekend that I picked. If you can't join live, it's not the end of the world, 100%, especially if you're a member of the community. You have access to me all the time. You can always come ask me questions. So not a problem at all. Okay. I love your hands popping out from behind the graphics. I know, to be honest, if I'd given myself a little bit more time to mess with StreamYard, which is the platform I use that's got like all the pop-ups and everything, I would have figured out how to like put it next to my head. And I just didn't. So that's what it's covering my face, and that's where we're going. Loving this, just what I need. It sounds so exciting, just what I need. I love it. I'm back Monday and I'm off work, so I'll try to cram it. You definitely don't need to cram it in. Like, it is, the videos themselves are 5 to 10 minutes. It is likely going to take you more than 5 to 10 minutes to actually take action, like do I don't like the word homework, to do the action that comes from the video. So if you can't cram it all into one day, like, that's totally fine. But I am excited about just get that refresh. I feel it. I need it. Like, when I was creating it, I was like, isn't that always, I feel like I tell you this all the time. Like, I could create what I want and what I need. And I just hope that it also helps somebody else. So I want to share it with you. So I'm definitely feeling that halfway through the year slump. Becca, you're totally not alone there. And part of it, let me tell you, it's always going to be that way. Like, I don't mean that to sound so negative. Life changes, and where you were at in December or January, whenever you set those goals, is not where you're at now. And so we likely will always need some sort of refresh or revamp. But I think this year, especially, last year I felt this a little bit too. We didn't know what really to expect. Where are we at? Are we where things are in the world, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so I hope that it helps you. Again, it doesn't start for a few weeks, so no rush. The link to sign up is in the description box. If you have any other questions, let me know. But yay. Okay, that's all that I have. Now it's your turn. Sorry for taking the first 10 minutes to ask my go-to questions and to tell you all about the challenge. The rest of the time is yours to ask questions, anything that you want to chat about. If you do not know how to phrase it into a question, you can just put topic, put whatever the topic is. I just hit my computer, and we can chat about that topic. Also, if you have a question that you feel like is way too specific to you and your goals, I promise, somebody else either has a very similar question or struggle, or is going to get value out of the answer, even if their goal is completely different. So, how many weeks are you now? Almost 23. Yeah, I'll be 23 weeks on Friday. So we're getting there. We're almost 2/3, which will feel, I feel like that's almost isn't really pushing it. Should probably still relish in the halfway mark, but we are getting there. We meaning me and my tiny human. I guess my husband also, but I was just watching something the other day about how no, you know what? I was listening to a podcast. It was a podcast I listened to a very long time ago and kind of forgot about it. And then a person I follow on Instagram was in an episode. So they reshared it. And I was like, oh, I've kind of forgot about that podcast. It's called Life Kit. It's by NPR, but it's like bite-sized podcasts on all kinds of various topics. You can skip the ones that don't apply to you. And one of the recent ones was all about the actual psychological, mental brain changes that happen during pregnancy for females, and how that's one of the things that makes it so different for the pregnant partner versus the not pregnant partner, is that they're literally not going through those same chemical changes. Like their life is drastically changing, but they're not experiencing those same, literally things that I can't control in my brain, which I thought was super interesting. Did you and Sam figure out grandparent names yet? No. And I appreciate all of your comments last week. It was really fun. We talked about this on last week's live. If you didn't watch the replay, or you weren't there, and a lot of comments were about this. Lots of you sharing so many fun stories. We know that it is very common that one of the kids will change the names based on what they say. We are just trying to get a little ahead of it. I'm not picking them. Also, our parents are figuring them out, not us. It's just figuring out the two that kind of want something similar. And is that going to be annoying to try and have two that are that similar? But at the same time, our kids, we don't live by all of them. If we lived by all 8 grandparents, maybe I would be a lot more anxious, stressed about that situation. But really only one set of grandparents lives here that they're going to be seeing all the time. And the other grandparents, it'll be less frequent. So I'm not super concerned about it. It just happened to be a topic that came up last week. There's so many other baby focused things that I need to figure out in the next 4 months, besides grandparent names. Oh, you looked amazing in all the pictures you took last week. Thank you. That's very sweet. I feel like I'm still trying to get used to do I want to put my hand on my stomach? Do I not want to put my hand on my stomach? Do I like this angle? Do I not like this angle? I still feel like I'm trying to figure all that out. I saw the pics of her baby belly, so cute, except for the ones that I took with my best friend at her baby shower. Those we took a ton of them, and I adjusted because I knew that was going to be a picture that I wanted to cherish. We have been best friends since freshman year of college, still a long time ago. And I just can't believe we're having babies 2 months apart. Have you seen the 6-year-old who starts his day with a morning routine? I have not. If someone wants to share the link with me, I would love to see that. That is amazing. That is so fun. After all my life changes, moving across the country, new job, losing a parent, and moving one in with me, the event is perfect because it's been difficult to nail down goals for the first 6 months. Shannon, you have gone through so much. And I'm sure that a lot you have been struggling with focusing on yourself, right? A lot of those things, not that you're not moving or starting a new job for yourself, but there's still so much that is about other people and other focuses. And so I if the second half needs to be all about you and be a little selfish, I am here for that. How is the settling apartment unpacking? Also, I feel like I've asked you this before. I'm not sure if it's the same. I've seen the name before. Is it Thea or Thea? Because we have a friend who's a daughter named Thea, and that's how they spell it and that's how they pronounce it. But I've also heard it pronounced Thea, and I don't want to mispronounce your name. We definitely have made some big moves in the last couple of weeks. We finally bought a bed. It's not put together yet. We bought a dining room table. We bought, Sam bought a chair for his office. Like we bought some other, like some big furniture pieces that's definitely making moves. And then we have company coming in 2 days. And that's kind of giving me a little bit of extra oomph to make some other moves that I was definitely putting off. Like I have just been throwing stuff into the nursery/guest room because if I didn't want to look at it, that's the room it went in. And so being able to like focus and organize that room, like it's giving me a reason to do that. So we're definitely getting there. I still feel like I have this whole list. I don't know if you're going to be able to, let me grab it. Oops. If you're gonna be able to see it. It's just in like a notebook, like a really old Erin Condren notebook. And it's got all the different rooms in our house. And I made this, obviously I've checked stuff off because I made this, I don't know, however long ago. It was maybe a month ago. I made this updated list. I had it all in a Google spreadsheet, but then I really wanted it to be like front and center. These are all the things we have left, which is still a lot of things, but hopefully we'll get to them before the little one gets here. Thea. Okay. Thank you. Lynn, I missed the wins, but wanted to let you know that I love your planner and weekly pad. Second month in and I accomplished so much. I love it. Thank you for sharing. I'm so excited. So that's all I use too. Today's show interview, it's on YouTube. He reads a book while he has tea before going to school. Stop. First off, that's adorable. And I'm going to Google it as soon as we're done here. Second off, both of my parents are pretty regular Today Show watchers. Like my mom and dad, who have not been married for 30 plus years, live in two separate states. They both watch the Today Show, and they both very regularly will text me things about the Today Show totally separately. And I'm like, I already heard that from the other one. So the fact that neither of them told me about this, parents. Lynn, any fun or surprise gifts at the baby shower if you're willing to share? I'm assuming you mean my friend's baby shower that I went to, and I am more than happy to share the gift that I got her because I have been holding it in because I obviously didn't want it to get back to her, but I was so freaking excited about it. I did also get them something off the registry, but so I was a bridesmaid in her wedding last year. We wore these beautiful blue dresses, but it's not really my color. It's not a dress I could see myself wearing again, even to like a black tie wedding, which frankly, we don't have a whole lot of, but I have another black tie wedding dress that I would pick first. So unless we had like two in 1 year. And so because they were also having a boy, I got her bridesmaid dress that I wore in her wedding turned into a baby blanket. And I will leave the Etsy shop link down below. Basically all I did, I got it dry cleaned and then I bought the Etsy listing. And then she gave me her address. I mailed her the dress and she turned it into a baby blanket. I got to pick the color. So it's like on one side, the fabric is the bridesmaid's dress. And then the other side, it's that super soft baby blanket fabric. And I got to pick the color for the other side. And then, and she sewed it into a blanket and sent it back to me. And it was so funny because I was like giving her a second to try and like see if it would click. And I mean, I feel her. She's pregnancy brain. There are so many things going on in her head. In retrospect, suggestion from another friend, I should have included a picture of us from the wedding because I think had the picture been there with the blanket, it would have been really obvious what was going on. But she was kind of looking at it like, it's a blanket. It's pretty. It's cute. Not like totally getting what it was. And then when I said it out loud, everybody was just like, she did the thing where she opens presents in front of everybody, was like, oh my God, that's so cute. That's so sweet. Like, anyway, so I'm really, if you or anybody has like, if you have a dress, and then, so I've told other friends about it the next day at brunch and they were like, oh, I'm totally stealing that. I have a dress that I'm never going to wear again. That was like a nude color. She was like, perfect. Like, that's what I'm going to do when they have children. So, really, really loved that gift. I love how you asked and I'm like, here, let me talk about my own because it turned out so cute. And I think it's just so special. So loved it. Love, love, love. Amber, just wanted to brag on my son who graduated from UTSA this weekend with his Bachelor's of Arts in Music with a minor in Music Technology. He's the lead guitarist in a band in town here since 2016. Okay. so many things. First off, brag away. Like so happy for your son and for you and for everybody that likely was involved in getting him from start to finish. Second off, both of my parents went to UTSA for their undergrads. That school has drastically exploded since my parents went there, and then even my first stepdad was a professor there. So I spent a lot of time on campus when I was little. My parents were still in school, and my stepdad was still working there. And then also, what is the name of the band? Because I'm going to tell my family to go see them. They are huge live music fans. I don't know what places he tends to perform at. I know that they frequent a pizza place. It's a little bit outside the city called Frollo's, and they have live music there. So that's just so cool. That is so awesome. Lots of comments on the gifts. Yeah, I thought it was also really cool and really sweet. So super excited for them and their little boy. Yeah, okay, it looks like I'm all caught up. Any other questions on your mind? I feel like all of our questions today have been kind of just like generic about me, about my trip, about the baby and the apartment. Also here to talk about you and your goals. Like this time, you can keep asking questions about this if you really want, but I'm also here to answer questions about you and your goals too. If you need something, if there's something that you're struggling with, or you need help breaking it down, or some kind of pep talk, I'm here for you. So is my coffee. I'm already thinking about when it's gone, how sad I'm going to be. Coffee. I also think there's a slight delay in our comments here. Lynn, I'm trying to think if there were any other gifts that she opened that weren't from the registry. There was another sewn blanket. I don't remember who it was from because it wasn't somebody there. It was like somebody else brought it for the other person, where they had a hand knitted blanket. That was so sweet. I think everything else that she opened was from the registry. Brenda, topic: dealing with mom guilt when trying to devote time to your goals. So obviously, I do not have any personal experience with this yet. So, because I know as soon as I start to talk about sometimes on things that like it's related to being a parent, and I will get feedback that's like, well, you're not a parent, so you actually have no idea, and you're 100. Like those people are right. I have no idea yet what that actually feels like. So the topic I'm going to give you, and if any other moms want to jump in, that is based on the experience I've had working with moms. So the first thing I will say, which I'm sure I'm going to hate hearing this when I'm in that moment as well, and that is that you are a better mom when you're a better version of you. And that is true, honestly, for everything in life. You're a better spouse, partner when you're the best version of you. You're a better worker, coworker when you're the best version of you. You're a better friend, daughter, sister, whatever, when you're the best version of you. You are especially a better mom when you are a good version of you. Typically, our goals are helping us be that better or best version of ourselves. I don't even like to say best because that is always changing, but a better version, happier version, more relaxed version, whatever insert adjective that you want to insert, your goals are helping you be that, which in turn is better for your kids. So that I think it's not fun to be reminded of that, but that is the reminder. And so if you need that on a sticky note, if you need that on the back of your phone, if you need that somewhere that you see it all the time, to remind yourself that like when you are taking time for your goals, that I'm not saying the guilt's going to go away, but there is a reason, right? And the why is also for your kids. And so you could spend that hour with them, which would also be awesome for them, or you could spend that hour on yourself, which is also awesome for them. The other thing I will say here on this topic is really letting go of it being an all or nothing, right? It can be really hard sometimes to be like, I just saw an Instagram reel or something the other day about how a mom happens to have a little one who is pretty self-sufficient, not self-sufficient, that's not really the word. Like it's like a toddler, and when they wake up in the morning in their crib, they're not crying and like immediately wanting to get up and get out. And so she like will leave some sort of soft toy or book in there with them, and they typically would like play with it by themselves in the morning when they first wake up. And she's like, I used to feel like I needed to immediately, my baby was awake, I needed to go get them out of the crib and like start my day with them. She was like, truthfully, they were satisfied and they were good in there playing with their toy, their soft book, whatever it was. I am going to take that time for me, and I'm going to, she was talking about getting in a workout, but whatever it is that you need, whatever your insert goal is here, it doesn't have to be like I spend my entire morning either with my child or working on my own morning routine, right? It can be a balance of both. So, whatever that look like, same thing on the weekends or in the evenings, right? Like a balance of being, with your kids as well as working on your goals. So that's helpful. Also, of course, there's hiccups involved. Any new food that just hits the spot. After being in New York this weekend, I forgot how much I loved bagels. That when we got grocery delivery this week, I got bagels delivered. They're not obviously near as good as the ones that I had in New York, but I forgot how much I loved bagels and cream cheese. Topic: how to slowly get back into exercising after doing nothing for 2 straight years. It's hard for me to walk 1 block because my hips get sore so fast because of pandemic pounds I have gained. Okay, so I think we talked about this related to going to the gym a few weeks ago. And so some of these things may be a repeat, but I'm going to start with number 1 is what you're going to be doing, right? What type of workout? So if walking is painful, that might not be the option. Maybe it's something much more low impact, like stretching or yoga, or maybe it's doing something in the pool. Now I understand that you were just talking about opening your swimming pool. So you may have access that for other people. If you're having a similar struggle to her, you may not have that same ease of access to a pool. But I know that for some people, that's a really good place to start with movement if doing any other kind of movement causes you pain. I also, if it's within your budget, if it's very much a priority for you, would recommend maybe working with a professional, some sort of personal trainer who is going to help you find exercises that don't cause pain for you to start working on them. So category 1, step 1 is going to be to figure out your what. Step 2 is the when, right? And whatever you were doing before, however many years ago, does not matter. I don't care how many days or how long your workouts were. I don't care. That was years ago. You are in a completely different place now. So now it's time to start from 0. So you're either going to pick a really low number or a really low frequency, right? So if you're like, well, if I'm going to be going in the pool, then it's only really worth it if I have a full 30 minutes to like put my swimsuit on and get in the pool, then start with 1 time a week. But if you're like, I'm going to do 5 minutes of stretching, you could start with more like 3 times a week, right? Do you see what I'm saying? Like the total amount of time needs to be very low for you to start, and just start small and then start to layer it back on. But it can be overwhelming because there's multiple components, because the last piece of it is the when, in terms of like actually when you're going to do it, like not how much, but when you're going to actually execute on that, right? Is it the morning? Is it the middle of the day? And depending on what type of movement you're doing, that could impact that. Or are you working with a personal trainer? And so you're at the mercy of their schedule to some extent. And so figuring out actually when you're going to be doing it is going to be the last part. And it may take some trial and error to figure out, because once again, whatever worked before, it's not the same. It's different. So don't feel bad that it's going to look completely different, and it's going to take you time to get back into it. Lynn, this is also a great reminder based on Brenda's topic. Watching you working on and accomplishing your goals is a great example for your kids to learn. This comment reminds me a lot. I think I've mentioned this a few places. And I'm not trying to get like, I don't want to tear up as I talk about this. I have 8 younger siblings. You haven't heard me talk about that. Actually caring for a small child like keeping it alive. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't come at me. I know that once it's my own and I'm Sam, the sole responsibility is different than being a big sibling. I get that. But in terms of knowing what to do, right? I know how to change a diaper. I know how to feed a baby. I know how to burp a baby. In fact, we were visiting friends in Texas last summer. We were down in Austin and they had a 1-month-old. We went over to visit them and it was feeding time. And I was like, I don't want to step on she was pumping. And so she had milk ready to go. And I was like, I don't want to step on your toes. So if you like want your feeding time, like I'm not, but if you want a break, I'm happy to feed her. And the mom was like, go for it. Here's your bottle. And so, I mean, I fed the little one, burped her, and Sam was staring at me like, how the heck do you know how to do all that? So like that piece of raising a kid or keeping it alive, I am way less nervous about. The actual raising the child into a good human being is the part that makes me very nervous. Like very much, like that's the part that scares the bejesus out of me. But what I've heard, based on which is what Lynn said, is most of it, a lot of it is you being an example, you being a good person, you doing the things that you want like your kids to emulate. And if you keep doing those things, they will then do those things. So the same thing is true with goals. And that's such a great reminder that like you prioritizing yourself and your goals, your kids are going to see that. And then they're going to be able to implement that hopefully at some point in their lives. So such a good reminder. Amber, I feel like the first part of your message, I don't see it about, I'm assuming this is about your son's band name. Back to Becca's topic on pain and workout. I have pain a lot and need to move to lose weight too. Take an anti-inflammatory, an hour Advil. I think you mean 1 hour before you exercise. Advil, Aleve, or Tylenol, depending on what helps you best before you exercise. It really does help me be able to move, eat when you take the pills, and possibly even find a recovery shake afterwards. Great advice. That's, not something obviously you want to rely on for the rest of your life, but if right now it's a cyclical process, right? Like by the way, you do not have to move your body to lose weight. There are other avenues. But it feels cyclical that you're like, I'm in pain because I need to lose weight, but in order to lose weight, I need to move my body, but moving my body hurts me and, so on and so forth. So also, I feel like it's not necessary here, but just as always, whenever we talk about this topic, y'all, I am coming at it with the mindset of goals and how it impacts like how to tackle movement, etc., from a goals standpoint in terms of breaking it down, scheduling time for it, etc., that kind of thing. Obviously, not any kind of certified anything in fitness or health. Okay. I always recommend my friend Justina, her YouTube channel and her programs if you are looking for somebody who is certified in all kinds of things. Recently certified in pre and postnatal, which that timing just could not have been more magical for my life, that she released a prenatal and a postnatal program. Her postnatal one is not out yet, but she released a prenatal program this month. It was literally perfect for me. So, and then again, the postnatal one, once we get there, hopefully, and not hopefully, like I'm not going to get there. Hopefully I will find the time to prioritize the postnatal program when that time is here. Oh, but like all of you said, not that my 6-week-old would be able to know that I'm prioritizing myself, but getting back into movement of some kind, I know will be helpful, even if it's just walking. Kind of two topics we're kind of going through back and forth: mom guilt, moving with pain. Anybody else have any other follow-up thoughts or questions for either of those people? Please feel free to share in the live. If you're catching the replay and you have thoughts or suggestions, always feel free to come into the comments. And I always tell people who ask questions on the live to come back and read the comments in a few days, because typically there will be a comment or two for your question of somebody else that has thoughts to share. Also, non-weight bearing activity will be easier. Yeah, totally. That can be one of the reasons why paying for a program or working with a professional who has the expertise to give you movement that is going to cause less pain could be a really great place to start. Or again, having access to water exercises can be such a good place to start. Somebody, big truck going on back here. Any other questions? What else you want to chat about? I feel like everyone's a little bit quiet today. Specifics: a stationary bike, a pool, or chair stretching. All good options. And truthfully, like, I mean, if you don't have a stationary bike, obviously that's not an option, but like some of the other ones, you can just Google, and YouTube has a ton of workouts like that fall into any of those categories. And we've talked about chair stretching before on here. Talk me out of dyeing my florals for the wedding. Are you like actual real life flowers and you want to dye them yourself? Or are we talking artificial flowers that you want to DIY and dye? If we're, wow, Laken, it says DIY, not dyeing. Like, I read that as dyeing. Yes. DIYing, y'all. Wow. Okay. I 2 cents. I think you were thinking about doing wood flowers. Okay, well, that's an even different kind of DIY than I was thinking. Like, my mom told me about how she DIY'd her flowers for the wedding. But she had a person, and that person was my grandmother, her mother-in-law, who is a very creative, has a really good visual eye for that kind of thing. So they went and bought flowers, like inexpensive, like flowers, and then mix and matched and combine them into bouquets, right? So if you're going to do it that way, A, you have to be aware that that's one other thing on your list the week of the wedding, and B, that somebody needs to have that eye for like creating those bouquets. Now, if you're trying to do something like wood flowers, I think the amount of DIY that you're trying to do before, you just have to be like, that's not going to die, right? So you don't have to do that the week of the wedding. You can do that, weeks and months in advance. Is like, what's the time to cost ratio? And is your time worth that, right? Like, there are things that I have thought about, or I thought about DIYing, but then when I looked up how much it was like, well, it would take me hours to do that. I might as well just pay somebody else, because that hours, I was working for myself at that point. I was like, my time it's not worth that to do it. And I wasn't that excited about doing it. Unless you literally can't find what you want, and the only way to get exactly what you want is to DIY, that's a different scenario. It would probably just be my bouquet and possible corsage things for the bridesmaids. I mean, again, I think if you can find what you like, unless it's going to take, between buying the materials and doing it yourself, like if the hours you're going to commit to it, that's a lot. There's already so much to do for the wedding. I don't know. But you want us to talk you out of it. So yeah, I think then it comes down to, as long as you can find what you want, just have somebody else do it. I bought my bouquets and corsages, but DIY'd the reception centerpieces. But didn't really have to do it. My family picked up the flowers and put the centerpieces together for me the day of. Yeah, if somebody else is doing it, I'll do an analysis and go from there. Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to, is like, do you, is it worth the hours? Jennifer, do you recommend planning your time for this holiday weekend or just enjoying it? I think it depends. The answer to this is really going to depend on you as a person. These like long holiday weekends, I think it's nice that you get, depending on what you do for a living, you likely get an extra day off of work. And so it is a common weekend for people to travel. So if you're going somewhere or you have people coming to you, enjoy it. If you are not doing one of those things and you would rather take the weekend to prepare for the new month and like use it like you would a normal weekend, use it like you would a normal weekend. Like if we didn't have company coming, I probably wouldn't treat this weekend any differently than a normal weekend. So, but I also treated last weekend kind of like a holiday weekend because I was in New York for 4 days. So like, I feel like it really comes down to what you want to get out of this weekend. What do you need? Do you need planning and structure, or do you need rest and relaxation? And do that. Eve's budget. Any tips for professional burnout when you cannot change professions for the next months or year? I don't know if I have any personal tips. If anyone else has experienced this or have any thoughts, I would love to hear it in the comments. What pops into my head is you've got to be open to having conversations with the people that are impacting your burnout, right? So is it your boss? Is it the structure of the company? Do you want to go to HR? We talked a lot on last week's live about standing up for yourself. And I think that might really be what comes into play here, is that if you really can't change your job, then you can't live like that. Like you can't function. I'm assuming the professional burnout is coming from time, not necessarily what. And I think that you're going to have a conversation and be like, I literally can't work this many hours. Also, we get this tip all the time from our community member who is in HR, who has worked in HR, who always says to look at the contract and are the boundaries that are being pushed that are causing this burnout, like, is that above and beyond what your contract said? And using that as leverage when you're having those conversations. Is there a way to implement any boundaries in your current job? Yeah, it's a good suggestion, Allison. And I think it doesn't have to be an all or nothing, right? I'm not sure, Eve, if is your name. It doesn't have to be like you're going from 80 hours a week to 40 hours a week, right? But maybe it's like, I take a lunch or I'm done by this time on Friday. I used to work way more than I should. Now I cannot do what I used to love to do. I feel like if you've got to, maybe it's getting clear on what you want before you have conversations. Like, what does not burnout look like for you? So I don't have a whole lot other advice. Just did the sign up for the refresh and it still shows your New York address. Oops. Oh well, I'll fix that. It's not a big deal. It's my UPS address anyway. My USPS. Do you make notes on the nonfiction books or do you just read them? I feel like my big hurdle for nonfiction is thinking I should be highlighting note taking at the same time. Kelly, I do highlight in my nonfiction books. That way, when I'm going back to look for something, it's easier for me to find it. I don't necessarily take notes in them. I will take pictures of pages that I want to be able to reference more quickly, and save it like in a folder on my phone. But I'm not really taking notes, but I do highlight. That's why I like to own my own copies of nonfiction books. See if your company has an employee assistance program. It's a good recommendation. I really do feel like going to HR and like chatting with somebody there and just like full talking about it. Just want to mention it so you can know for the future. Thanks. The addresses that are a million places that I still feel like I'm never going to update them all. Going into days off, so it's back to the question, I'm assuming on the weekend. I always try to ask myself what will benefit me most coming up and try to prioritize whatever is most needed. Sometimes rest is needed and sometimes other things are pressing on us and it would be helpful to get them done. Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. And it doesn't have to be the same every, quote unquote holiday weekend or even every weekend, right? Like, what do you need that weekend going into the next week? The issue sometimes or struggle that I have with these holiday weekends that are at the end of the month is like, I would love to have this weekend, like this weekend more as like a really prep for the new month, but it's hard when it's a holiday weekend. And so people have lots of like do things. Um, so kind of also depends on when it falls. Some other suggestions: schedule rest and recreation outside of work. Make a plan for the changes you need and give yourself time to figure out what you need. Outside of work, only do the minimum and get more rest in. Definitely a good suggestion, Nikki. Allison, have you thought about painting your doors white for your video that went up yesterday? If you didn't watch the video that went up earlier this week, I talked about how much I missed my old office. Mostly I talked about how I missed that the wood in my old office, like outside of the windows and the closet door and stuff, was white. We're renting, so I can't paint it. At least I'm like 99% sure I can't paint it. I don't even think I can paint the walls. I think if I paint the walls, I have to paint them back. I'm not going to do that. And it's not the walls that bother me. I mean, I need to hang stuff up in this office. It's more the wood, the dark, like cherry wood. I wish it was white like it was in my old office, but I can't do that because it's not my apartment. Yeah, we're just renting. Oh, well. I mean, at least I've got like the white shelves. Like that's helpful. I don't know. I liked the way that looked. I think that's usually how it works. It looks great for what it's worth. I appreciate it. And a lot of people like it. I mean, y'all, if you remember, I felt the same way about the brick in my old office. I didn't like the brick. Like that was not my thing. But a lot of people were like, I love the brick. I think it's so cool, including Sam. And I was like, I'm not here for it. So a lot of people really like it. May think it looks good. I just am not people. Can you attach fabric to it somehow? I don't think so. And I don't know if you're seeing this one door. It's every door and every window and every outline is all that dark wood. The other piece is don't let guilt of not doing something productive skew your feelings. Do a true check-in with your energy and what would be beneficial. That's also a great reminder. Once you decide how you're going to go into the weekend or the day or whatever it is, and stick with it and not let guilt of the other option get to you. Damask Love just put up remover wallpaper that may be used to cover the doors. I did just see that. I follow her, love her. Amber is fantastic. I don't know. So again, y'all, I don't know if you realize, I'm not going to get up because I've got on like sweatpants that are at home sweatpants. They bend, right? Like it's not doors that open like this way. They like bend in the accordion style. So I just feel like wallpapering those would be not beneficial. Yeah. And with the creases in them, I just feel like it would not. My old office had like sliding doors. That would have been easier to deal with. These, I don't think I would be able to do that. Or I could, but I'm not near as crafty as her. And also, that's just me. It's me being nitpicky. Like in the grand scheme of things, there are so many more important things for me to do in this apartment and prioritize than complaining about the wood doors. And that was just a matter of the fact that we picked an older walk-up building as opposed to a new renovated building. A newly renovated building is not going to have that wood, or if they do, it's going to be painted a different color. But you get way more for your money in an older walk-up building. So we got the space for the money, and that means I don't get my white doors. It's fine. It's not a big video. I appreciate all of your thoughts and sharing suggestions for me though. All right. Any other questions or anything else that y'all need? I can't believe that this time just always flies by. I get it. I was the same way with my office and the pantry that's behind me. Putting those photo frames as Kanban boards helped. Yeah, I think Obviously the white shelf helped, and then also twisting my background so it's not all of it. Like when I was first doing lives, I was like doing it head on with the window, which the lighting was a little bit better that way. But then the door was like the main background. Whereas if I do it this way, it's not quite so annoying. So it is what it is. It is just temporary, right? We're renting. This is not forever. If it was forever, I would for sure be painting them. Or at least prioritizing that. All right. If there are no any other last minute questions, if you have any other questions, please feel free to pop them in the chat. But I'm going to ask you my last question, which is, where is it? Oh, there it is. There's so many like little, I need to clear through these comment boxes that I get pop up. What is the one thing you're going to do this week to make progress on your goals? Doesn't have to be huge. What is the one small step that you are going to take this week to make progress on your goals? It might just be setting up your goals for June. If you remember the community, we had our goal setting session last night. The replay is up. You can catch the replay if you weren't there live. If you're not part of the community, it could just be still prepping your goals for June. But what is the step you're going to prioritize this week to keep making progress on your goals? Just picked up my water again in case it decided to magically create water. It didn't. There's no water in there. I mean, I like my coffee, but I was like really craving a big sip of water. Using this weekend for rest and reset before the busy 2 weeks coming up. Love that. Definitely scheduling time for that rest. Read for your last exam and make pies for your birthday party next weekend. Oh my gosh, yeah. Finish the pool opening and going for your first swim. That's a great way to get in movement, Becca. Finish tracking your rest and watching the call replay from yesterday. I love it. I can't wait to hear about everybody's rest focuses for June. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the video yet from yesterday, we are carrying rest over into June. Read another chapter in your nonfiction book. Block out the time to work on my goals for June. Schedule time, gym time, and ask for accountability. June goals and pick out close to the first day of work. That's so exciting, Amy. Made up a list of the couple things I have left to accomplish before the end of the month. I love that, Lynn. Whatever you're going to prioritize before the new month starts. So much progress. You'll know it does not take big, perfect. Done is better than perfect. Small steps. Keep chucking away at those goals and taking little steps, progress, a little bit at a time, and it will add up over time. I promise. If you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up before you head out, I would greatly appreciate that. And if you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every week focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching.